Hey, what's up guys? Nick the Informative Fisherman here on behalf of Savage Gear. Super stoked to introduce you guys to our new Ned rig program. It's been a while. Everybody knows what a Ned rig is. And I've always had these changes in my mind. The designer Jose over there had these changes in his mind. And I'm like, dude, this is about to get real. Put some great baits together, a new style of Ned rig jig head. I'm gonna break it all down for you and show you how stoked I am to start fishing these baits and putting a ton in this year. So we have our little Ned tube. This is like a little goby style bait right here. It's got a nice little antennae on the back right there, two side fins. You can put the jig head inside if you want to dart it around like the old school tube jig to where it's going to hop and change direction, or you could just rig it like a traditional Ned rig jig and pull it straight across the bottom. Later in the fall, a lot of these lakes have these gobies running around on humps, rock bottoms, a fantastic choice. Even shallow grassy lakes have gobies. You guys would be surprised because you don't randomly catch gobies, how often a goby bait can absolutely murder in, shoot, 99% of the lakes around the country. Then we're gonna move up to our little crawfish. This is about a 3-inch crawfish right here. Now I wanna tell you guys a little bit of secret here. Everybody knows Ned rigging is great in the winter. Water gets cold, you can Ned rig. Believe it or not, below 50 degrees, Ned rig's insanely good. Above 80 degrees, Ned rig's insanely good too. Why is that? The fish get sluggish when it's too hot, fish get sluggish when it's too cold. They chomp the Ned rig. The secret, below 50 degrees, a lot of people believe all crawdads start hiding in muddy holes and they hibernate for the winter like a little baby bear. Well, this little sucker wanted his hot chocolate just right. And a lot of these juvenile crawdads, they go down and they hide in those little muddy, grassy areas where the grass dies off. There's still roots there. There's a lot of little crawfish, and a lot of the time they're in those darker, palish colors in the winter time because they don't get a lot of vitamin A in the plants to feed on, so they turn into those paler green pumpkins, little blue accents to them from a lack of vitamin A, and that size is money. We got our salamander. Now a salamander is fantastic right here because these baits are TPE, so I'll show you. I got one on right here. They grab that salamander by the tail, boing! They don't tear these suckers, they stay on. They're damn near indestructible. The salamander's fantastic. It sits up real high on the bottom. These baits have that buoyancy to stand up and have the presence to where when you're dragging with the jig head, and I'm gonna talk about that, when you're dragging, it looks natural. When it stops, it floats up. A lot of the time, having a little taller presence like the salamander is gonna get you those extra bites versus the tube being a shorter body and that crawdad sitting up too. Sometimes that salamander is gonna give it a little longer body. It was great. Red ears were grabbing it today. Little panfish, I go to set and I think the bait probably stretched 6 foot. They didn't tear my bait. I got it back. Really cool one that I'm excited about. When Jose was developing this, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. So here's the deal. A lot of people don't know when Ned rigging is developed, Ned Cade actually liked to pendulum the bait. We don't just drag a Ned rig along the bottom all the time. He actually picked it up, held the tight line, and pendulumed it back. Made a far cast, picked it up, tight line, and it would pendulum back. This is the Ned Minnow. This can swim and it can be dragged like a Ned rig. When you stop, it'll sit up like a wounded shad. So this year, you know, when the fall comes, you see all the birds going around and like it starts to get too cold and those shads start to die off. This is going to be insane being dragged across the bottom. But when you do that pendulum, it's now gonna swim back, hit the bottom, stand up. If they're tracking it down, hits the bottom and stand, what other bait in the fishing industry can possibly do that? Name one. Throw it in the comments. I dare you, because it doesn't exist. These are 4 phenomenal Ned bait styles right here, guys. It's gonna put an absolute ton of fish in the boat for you. I'm so stoked for it to get cold or too hot again because I wanna go whacking.